India has finally decided to fill up the gap from the French FCAS 6th generation aircraft. But the questions here are bigger. What happened to our indigenous plans? What happened to AMCA? And where are we looking at this aviation generation manufacturing ecosystem which was talked about so much? So we will be understanding all of this from scratch, and what is the story behind this French FCAS that we are considering to buy out. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to join the threads of the fact that when we are looking at the 6th generation fighter aircraft, why are we considering FCAS? What happened to our indigenous aircrafts, Tejas, AMCA, and what is the immediate need that we are trying to fulfill? So let us start with understanding the exact picture that lies in front of us as of now. So as of now, short story in front of us is this: even though we are looking to procure, we are lagging behind in manners that in general public is not able to understand, and that lagging behind is going to cost us in terms of defense. This delay is something that is very expensive in terms of military costs, and when we are looking at addition of 6th generation fighter jets, it is something that might be able to add, but the foundation that remains weak is not being able to address. So in this context, our starting point is to understand that what exactly is the situation in Indian Air Force in terms of squadron strength. So when we are looking at squadron strength, as of now in 2026, we were supposed to have 42 fighter squadrons, but as of now, unfortunately, we are short and we are standing at 29 squadrons. So in this context, you have to understand two things. Bigger fighter jets, for example, MiG-21, they have retired. Few of them need given upgradation maintenance that has not happened, and few of the procurement that was supposed to happen, that also did not take place. So because of this expected number in real time as of now happens to be this. Now the problem is not the number that it is 42, it is 29. The problem is what kind of problem this gap will create. This is a problem when we have two-front security environment. So this quantitative gap is going to be problematic whenever we are vulnerable on these very two fronts. And that is why, as of now, because of this given squadron strength, India is trying to solve a three-layered problem. Now, what exactly is the three-layered problem that I am talking about? The first layer is short-term. Short-term problem is this quantitative gap that I have just talked to you about. Then we have a medium-term problem. What is this medium-term problem? Medium-term problem is that we want indigenous aviation capacity building, manufacturing in our country, and we have to ensure that Tejas Mk2 and AMCA, they are able to deliver on it real time. Because this is something that can happen in medium term as well. And then for long term, that what India is looking at is the fact that we don't want to be left behind. How do we want to be left behind? We do not want to be left behind when we are looking at 6th generation aircrafts. AMCA is a 5th generation. 6th generation aircraft where we already have China bringing in multiple prototypes, Pakistan testing out. So in this context, we want to be prepared for long term. And when we are looking of addition of FCAS, it is only solving one layer of the problem. So we are going to talk about FCAS in this very context, that how do we put this right and what is expected out of it. Now in this context, we have understood that India has clear two problems in front of us, that we have to fill up the space immediately, but at the same time we realize for long term and medium term we don't want to be dependent on foreign technology and we want to do it on our own. But if you remember, this is not a recent realization, this is a realization that we have had for long, but the question is, why haven't we done anything about it? So we have to go a little back and understand that what we have done and what did not work out for us. So in 2007, MMRCA was launched. Now the whole idea of medium multi-role combat aircraft, the launch idea was to ensure that we have indigenous capability in terms of best technology. So what happened in 2007 was that India said we are going to get 126 medium multi-role combat aircrafts. How that was supposed to be done? It was supposed to be done that we will get 18 aircrafts in flyaway condition. I am specifically talking about Rafale aircrafts. And 108 aircrafts will be manufactured in India by HAL. And what will this ensure? This will ensure that we have the technology transfer and our industry in this will be able to be built up. Now this was finalized in 2007, understanding we need immediately to fill up the position, the quantitative gap, and this is something can be for our domestic manufacturing and domestic indigenous capabilities. Then comes 2011-12 where we are seeing that the Dassault Rafale emerged as the preferred aircraft, and when the finalized evaluation was done as for 6 contenders, that is when Rafale came into the picture. Before that it was not Rafale, it was just aircraft which we want. In this context, the moment Rafale was finalized came a big political change in our country and we arrive in 2014. Now, new negotiations started, production responsibility, pricing, technology transfer, how will HAL work, and aircrafts which are manufactured in India, who will be liable for their maintenance, how that will be done, and that is why negotiations became very difficult. And after that, in 2016, this whole original plan of 2007 was changed. How it was changed? It was said that we are not going to go for 126 that we are talking. We are going to stick to a new agreement, that was an intergovernmental agreement, for 36 Rafales all in flyaway condition. Now in this context, when we are looking, if you see the original plan of MMRCA, that is compromised. The domestic indigenous capability, that is compromised. So why did this happen? 2016 was a result of stalling and the political change that we saw in the country. Now this was a major setback. This story was continued in form of MRFA. That is where we saw that the story which was left behind, that was picked up, and finally based on very similar original structure of 2007, 114 Rafales were signed up. The proposed framework, again 20 aircraft, flyaway condition, 94 aircraft manufactured in India, but the timeline, if you look at it, was delayed by a decade. And that is why we are having a quantitative as well as qualitative gap as of now. So as of now, we are looking at the finalization of this program again, and that is why we are lacking down. So this is something that is done for immediate filling up, but this immediate is not that close. So we don't want to lack on the 6th generation aircrafts as well, and that is why we have gone for the French Future Combat Air System. Now if we are looking at Future Combat Air System, what we are seeing here is that this is not like conventional fighter programs. When we are looking at the 6th generation combat aviation, this is a big system which comprises of multiple systems. It includes AI sensors, it includes unmanned aircraft, but it has remote carriers. But at the same time, the crew is manned. It has advanced sensors, electronic warfare, and combat cloud and secure networking is also there. So this is not one combat aircraft. It is a amalgamation of multiple systems together. And amidst this, we have picked up France to be our partner. And we have clear reasons to pick this. It is not just about that we want to procure 6th gen technology. It is about how we are expanding our relations with a reliable defense manufacturer. And a bigger reason on our end is the fact that if we try to do this indigenously, it might take decades. And the two-front system that we are talking about, that environment remains exposed and vulnerable, and we don't want to be lagging behind it. But what story I have put in front of you is about the contradiction that we are facing. First, starting with how Tejas production has lot of challenges. Then we are talking about AMCA development. We need to understand where that will head to. But then we also have a very clear challenge. Engine, most of the aircraft we can build indigenously, but the main component, the heart of aircraft engine, we still have foreign dependence. And then we get this 6th generation aircraft. So this is all going simultaneously, and all of these are problems that need to be sorted. So these are coming as solutions. So one part of the story that we have left, that what is happening to Tejas and AMCA. So if we look at this, India still wants to build its own fighter ecosystem. We have Tejas in the picture, light combat aircraft. It is being developed and designed by ADA. But at the same time, we have to understand that Tejas, which was inducted in 2016, Tejas variants such as Tejas Mk2. And we have to ensure that the challenges that are being seen, not just in terms of production, but also in terms of quality and standards that have been highlighted, that need to be addressed. This is a hallmark of indigenous production in our country, but if we do not upgrade it, if we do not convert it into production, then it raises bigger questions in front of us. And when we are talking about AMCA, it is still in the proposal level. So the whole story still remains the same. The squadron gap is big. What we need to fulfill it is not still coming in, and this 6th generation fighter aircraft fulfills only one part of the story, not others. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be leaving you here with a very simple conclusion that short term, we want to fill the gap, which is to be done. Medium term, we want to build the indigenous capability, and long term, we want to stay ahead technologically. So what we are trying here, for filling the gap, we have MRFA. For this, we have Tejas and AMCA, and the conversation that started with was this. Now I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.